I was pondering earlier today of how the world would look like after COVID-19 because right now we are just and at this point since everyone collectively is in survival mode, everybody is not thinking about the future, or most of us are not thinking about the future because we want to preserve our present. And that's totally fine. That's pretty natural. And one of the reasons why I was thinking about that was because of trillions of dollars pumped into the US economy and what would be the consequences of that. Because sadly, all of that money, or at least most of that money, is going towards already big industries. So, or let me rephrase, like most of that money is not going to the common people. And this failed trickle down economy will continue because the nature of the world and how things work when you power begets power and money begets money. So when you have power and money and opportunity to make laws and change anything you want to, it's more likely that you will do that in your favor rather than, the regular guy. So it is what it is, but you and I, like regular people, what can we do and what can we look forward for once all of this dust settles in? And I feel that every time there is a crisis, it's also an opportunity because crisis is a test of you will find people evolve into leaders during the crises. And that's what I feel will happen. I'm optimist that there will be more people who will emerge as leaders once we are past this crisis. And when I say leaders, I don't mean political leaders. I mean leaders who take responsibility and who create something, who, it could be a leader in the business, it could be a leader in in healthcare industry, it could be leader in anything. You can define leader as a very generic term, right? So I believe that world will see a flux of leaders in the coming months and coming years. So you and I have this opportunity to prepare ourselves to fill in the because of this current crisis. A lot of people will be uncertain about things going on in their life and in general, so they will look up for the people who knows what exactly is going on. And a lot of times when you see actual leaders, like political leaders for an example, most of them don't know what's going on, but they act as if they do. So people tend to believe in their self-confidence and the leader's self-confidence, that is, and that's how they emerge as a political candidate and eventually win the candidacy and whatnot. But the true leadership comes from within. So this is the best time to prepare yourself and see where you can serve, where you can add value, and you will automatically see leadership qualities emerge within you. And I'm guilty. I can do much better. Instead of just preaching, I should also take actions towards it. So you and I, we are on the same boat. Drastic will be regarding health. And I believe that most of the people will choose to get healthier if they are not already. And they will try to take better care of their body and their immune system. And that will be overall a positive note coming out of this, because we as a society has started rewarding, in some sense, to the unhealthiest food by buying those unhealthiest food, because we are seeking out for this instant gratification, and food is one of the best form to get instant gratification. Spicy food or sweet dessert or anything which is of your taste, you will automatically feel happier. You will feel a release in your stress temporarily, but it may or may not be good for your health depending on what you're eating. For an example, if you're consuming a lot of sugar, then definitely it's not good for your health. So I hope that more people will become conscious about their well-being and take drastic change to improve their external body as well as their internal body. And one of the other things which will be drastically changed or improved would be finances, because right now a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck, and during this crisis, when they notice that they have to go through this lockdown for extended period of time, they don't have any savings and they end up having to go out there and work. And it's I would say I'm fortunate to have a little bit of saving to sustain. So it's judge somebody's together, because everyone is going through their own struggles. But what I'm getting at is, if people become more aware of their personal finances and take control over their finances, then they will have better time during crisis. And that's what I'm hoping, that most of the people learn how to take better care of their finances altogether. Also kind of applies to economy at large, because the economy, like I said, is not always favorable to the regular people like us. So it's once you're aware of the economic trends and your financial situation, then you would be able to into the economy, and you would be able to be part of the growing economy. And on the other end, I feel that one drastically impacted is socializing, how we socialize in the current environment. I mean, for generations or centuries, we're used to celebrate our gatherings in form of like mystical stories, such as religious stories, or just come together with a fictitious occasion, like Independence Day or New Year's Day. So we create different events throughout our life, so that we can socialize, we can come together. And this is one of those saddening times that this disease has taken away one of the core aspect of humanity, which is to come together and socialize. So it would be interesting to see how this trend will evolve. More people will come together even after this, and with being more conscious about their health and well-being, they will be able to go back to our previous lifestyle, at least to some extent. And I hope that this doesn't isolate every one of us. Personally speaking, there are time for both. I mean, I love my solitude time. I love to kind of recharge myself when I'm and socialize and just be among people and interact with different people. So it would be interesting to see how the socializing aspect of our lives will be impacted because of COVID-19. And also, I'm optimistic that one of the drastic change would be the levels of innovation across all the industry, but especially in the medical research and healthcare industry. I'm hoping that there will be more investments into those industries, and hoping that a lot of new graduates would go into the medical industry, because they are already seeing how important uh, the pandemic or any of these biological crises will be. So I hope that there will be increase in interest for the medical research and healthcare in general. And at the same time, I feel that there will be surge of innovation in tech industry as well, because obviously with this current situation, most of us are logged in, and because of the innovative tools from tech industry, we are still able to function. Most of the people are working from home, and they can not only perform their work effectively, but also uh, get paid for it, so they can sustain their style, or at least their basic needs. So I feel that tech industry will come up with more innovative solution to have a collaborative teamwork, even if we are working remotely. Lastly, I want to talk about immigration, because I'm an immigrant and this impacts me big time. It is impacting me right now, so I can only imagine how it's impacting to uh, the migrant workers who migrated from their home state to different places just to survive, just to find more opportunities. Um, in a way, I am surviving because I lost my job recently, and because of that, I have to be very mindful about my financial situation as well as my immigration situation, and all options are on the table right now because of all the crazy. Personally, I feel so bad for the migrant workers in India, because they are going through so much pain. They are forced, in some sense, to migrate from where they are to their home village or home city or hometown. Uh, and when I say forced, I mean because most of the migrant workers are day-to-day workers. So when they end up living in a city with very limited savings and don't have any income to add on to that, the logical move for on their behalf would be to go back to their hometown so that they can at least settle down through this crisis and then find opportunities and come back if they need to. But how this entire situation is handled in India is mind-boggling, because the government is not helping or haven't started helping the migrants for a really long time, and as a result, a lot of them were walking for hundreds and thousands of kilometers to go back to their home. And on top of that, people were doing everything possible. So they were renting out, different three-wheelers, as well as just hopping on to any trucks or any way they can go back home. And quite a few died because of road accidents as well. So the bigger question is, sure, COVID-19 is killing a lot of people, and that is very tragic. But also, we cannot we cannot just be blindsided to the indirect deaths because of COVID-19. Like I said, a lot of immigrants who were walking from one city to another, and they were killed because of road accidents or because of starvation and other factors. Those likewise, that's in here as well. Uh, due to the downfall of the economy, a lot of people are on road right now, and what about their lives? So it's a very tough situation, and I cannot imagine what the leaders of the country have to do to kind of hold up the economy as well as hold up the people. But the bigger question is, what is more important? Sure, economy is important, but if you look at the trends from past century or even longer than that, economy always bounce back. It takes a while, and in this scenario, it might take a longer period of time, but economy will bounce back. But the lives which are lost, they are lost. And I know it's very tough situation to kind of take or make decision which will not piss off people, because anything you're gonna make will piss off some people. But the more compassionate place to be at is to help out people, to at the very least help out people monetarily. So if government can, or I'm talking in general, but even specific to US, if the US government would have just handed or given the money to the people in the form of UBI, that itself would have helped a lot of people who are suffering right now. That would have helped people who lost their jobs. That would have helped people or even the companies to not firing people, because if the government would have just handed or given some money to the people directly, maybe they can take a pay cut temporarily. Now, the situation in which most of the people are, they don't have money, neither do they have jobs. And most of the money is gone to the big players. And that's how things operate in this world. But I'm up next decade or two, things will change dramatically, because as the older generation will fade off, so will this new innovation driven, new technology driven economy will include most of the people, like how this new innovative technology of internet is including every one of us. Hopefully it's remained that way. That's another conversation altogether. But when technology level play the field, then you see all these people who had no chance in the older traditional form of economy or marketplace to kind of make money or to become famous or to be creative and do what they love to do, wouldn't have possible. So technology have level field lot of sectors for the common people like us. And I hope that this innovation continue to evolve, and in the next decade or two, we will be at a place where even the poorest among us is well enough to sustain themselves. With that note, I will start today's meditation session. And I will be meditating using Vipassana technique. And unlike yesterday when I did guided meditation, I will keep it to myself today, and will be focusing within myself. And Vipassana technique, if you're not familiar, is very, very straightforward. All you need to do is find a good, comfortable place and sit in, and then with your eyes closed, just focus on your breath. I can't stress how important breath is. That's a conversation for another time, but just keep on focusing on your breath, and over time, you will become sensitive to sensations around your nasal area because that's where your focus is when you're. So once you are aware of the sensations around your nasal area, then you'd be able to take your focus to different parts of your body. And over time, you will observe that you can feel sensations throughout your body. And those sensations are in the form of tingling, pricking, tickling, bubbling, buzzing. It could be like combination of different sensations. And in some sense, that shows you the actual reality of what you're feeling in this moment, or in some sense, what your body is observing or going through all the times. But our brain don't want to drive us crazy, so it distracts us and in some sense numb us down to the sensations within our body. So when we start focusing on our we will be able to feel all the sensations within or even outside. So with that note, I'm gonna set an alarm for an hour and start meditating. But before appliances in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'll be back in a minute. Alrighty, I will see you in an hour. for streaming this live meditation. Until next time, peace.